Question on the homework. Why don't you help me fill out the table, Mr. Tulp?
For 4,800, 2,400, 1,200, 600, and then 150.
Oh, you caught it. How many people have 300 written there? Caleb?
I didn't understand that problem, if I'm going to be honest.
You are burning. There is a forest fire burning. And when they check on it, this is how much it's burned when they measured it. So this is before. So before the fire is burning, should be less things burnt, right? So let's look at the value when D is -1. What does that tell you about the area burned? So time is -1. That would be 1 day before these measurements were taken.
Wait. Acres burned since started the fire. Since fire started.
Yes, that would be
So that means that fire started.
prior. It's been burning for several days. This is the day they checked on it.
Hey, I never said I was the smartest guy in the class.
Okay, 1 day before. This one would be 3 days before. 3 days prior to the measurements. How much area had the fire burned a week before they measured it, and it was 4,800 acres? Well, plug in a week before. So 2 to the -7 times 4,800. 37.5 acres. So a week before, this fire was still rolling, just kind of getting started. Question number 2, the value of a home in 2015 was $400,000. It's been doubling each decade. So 2015, that would be time being 0. That's when this was first taken, is $400,000. A decade later, if it continues to double. -1 would be a decade earlier than 2015. That'd be 2005. Homes average 200,000. T equals -2. That would be 1995. Homes averaged 100,000. T equals -3, another decade prior. Homes averaged 50,000. So writing our equation. Well, we're starting at 200,000, and it's doubling every decade.
I thought
Yeah, why are we
it 400,000.
Sorry, I thought it was 200 starting. 400 is our original. Thank you. T equals -1. That would mean 1 decade prior. We already have it answered. In 2005, homes averaged $200,000. T equals -3. That would be 3 years prior, or 3 decades prior. That'd be this one. $50,000. So if you bought a $50,000 home in 1985, 3 years from now, it should be worth around $800,000 with how things are growing in the housing market. Question 3. What do you think on this one? Why? Plug in what? 3 years before. And yes, that's what you get. Remember, 1/2 to -3 is the same as 2 to the 3, 8 times 800. Question number 4. Increasing or decreasing? How do you know?
Because 5/4 is bigger than 1.
Exactly right. 5/4 is bigger than 1. If that number is bigger than 1, it is increasing. What was the area of the forest in 1950? Yeah, that'd be year zero, right? Decade zero. 5,000 times anything to 0 power is 1. 5,000 acres. 1940? How do you know that? Plug in -1. 4,000. Was the area of the forest less than 1,000 in 1900? You're gonna have one very similar to this on your warm-up today. Well, let's see. 5,000 times 5/4. How many decades is that before? 5. So 5/4 to the -5 times 5,000. 1,638.4 acres. Is that less than 1,000? Nope. Because it is actually more than 1,000. That would be my explanation. Question number 5. Plot the mosquito population when it's 0, 1, 2, so on. Well, 0 would be 1,000. 1 would be 2,000. 2 would be 4,000. 3 would be 8,000. 4 would be 16,000. Where on the graph do you see the 1,000? Well, that's of course our starting point. Y-intercept. Where on the graph can you see the 2? Y values double. Height doubles. However you would like to say that. Question number 6, plugging these in. 600,000, going by a half, 300,000, 150, 75, 37.5. Nope. Jumped the gun there. Wants the equation. 600,000 times 1/2 to the, what letter? Y? Okay, complete the table, done. Write an equation. Well, C equals the number I just wrote down there. Use your equation to find when Y equals 6. One half to the 6. Times 600,000. 9,375. What does that mean in terms of books? 6 years later. Yep. How many books were bought 6 years after it was released? Still quite a few, obviously not as much as the initial release. Question number 7. How many butterflies when they started? 250,000? How do you know? Y-intercept, where the graph starts, however you'd like to say that. How many were in the population after 1 week? 150,000. Week 2? 90,000. Write an equation. All right, well, analyzing any of the Y values here, let's do 90,000 divided by the one above it. 9/15, can that be reduced?
Yeah.
To what?
3
3/5? All right, so your equation wants us to use Q. That's might be a first. 250,000 times 3/5 or 0.6. 0.6 would be fine as well. T. There is your equation.